name is Adrian. I'm a fiber artist. As a fiber artist, most of my works are textile-based. The starting point of all these artistic journeys is connecting to the sentient providers of fibers, whether plants or animals. Over the past 5 years, I've hyper-focused my attention on this breed of sheep that's best in Western Asia. The Awasi sheep has a very long, extended co-history with people of the region, and it's also the sheep that's associated to sacrifice in Abrahamic religions. So there is this notion of pastoral ethics that I was very intrigued by, the landscapes in Lebanon of these sheep navigating through the land. I started working with several communities in the region, participating in shearing seasons, cleaning, separating the wool from the debris. And the practice is kind of very self-reflective because the works themselves emerge from these interactions with the different communities there, with the land, with the material as it's being cleansed. In this case, actually, one of the things that I was focused on was all the seeds that are attached to the animal's body that travel with the animal through the land, and they're just essentially diaspores that connect to the material and then are allowed to live and expand to new territories through the animal. And I was quite obsessively looking at all these seeds and trying to determine what grasses they were, looking at botanical drawings of them. And this is where I started to create certain figurations that I then would reinsert into the wool material, which is what kind of like what you're looking at over here. So one of the things I really love about it is a format of textile making that engages the whole body. After the wool and everything has been prepared, you just start to lay all the wool material in a flat surface, and then you roll it for many days until it entangles, and it shrinks and entangles, shrinks and entangles, until finally something, like a plane emerges from that. And one thing that I really enjoy about working with it is the fact that you can trap things inside of it. Sometimes it conceals things, sometimes it decides to show others, but at that point, there is a notion of allowing the material itself to have its own agency as I rub it. And the more I rub it, the more reactive it becomes.
My name is Nazilya Nagimova. In this exhibition, I show some works from my series, The Forest Faces. The Forest Faces is a series of felt artworks that depict enlarged images of specific butterflies. Nature is my biggest source of inspiration. In the culture of my Tatar ancestors, we believe that everything in nature possesses a spirit. The forest is not only the habitat for animals and plants, it's also a place for spiritual beliefs and holds significant importance for the culture. I learned felting in my childhood from my grandparents and relatives in the small village in Tatarstan. After my grandparents' death, this tradition was interrupted for about 20 years. After a long break, I returned to felting. For the creation of my artworks, I use sheep's wool, and I dye the wool using plants so that the colors harmonize naturally. I work with layers when creating my butterflies, similar to painting. Chulpan the Mother is a film about my felt installation, which I built in 2018. It is a big walking object in the form of a snail, which symbolizes my house between the worlds. Many years stood this installation outside, not protected from wind, snow, rain and heat. Gradually, the surface changed and the wooden construction inside shifted, and the snail became like an ancient animal, destroyed, abandoned, but still alive.
My name is Gegee Ayurzana. I'm from Mongolia. My practice is mostly centered around what the painting could be, and this question has really started to lead me to experiment with the materials of the painting. In this series of work that I'm showing at NIKA, my cultural memory very gradually started to surface through my material exploration. The figures are kind of like a mesh between insects, weapons, cultural artifacts, jewelries, and headwears that women from Mongolia used to wear traditionally for centuries. And I really like the elements of it that are found from the land of Mongolia, dug up from the soil of the land. And there's this idea of spiritual protectors or watchers that just loom over, protect the land, watching the people, or almost like a messenger of the sky, where sky is hugely worshipped in the shamanism, very integral to the Mongolian nomadic society and the culture. I'm glad this material exploration of what the painting could be on a transparent surface and hanging very independently from the wall and still possessing this brushstroke quality and the embodiment of the act of painting in it.
Hello everyone, my name is Nomin. I'm an artist based between Amsterdam, the Netherlands, Germany and Mongolia. Today I'm greeting you from the NIKA project space in Paris. Here we have a long-term series that I've been working on since 2019. These drawings to me are a very interesting process where I'm very much in a waking meditative state, kind of reflecting on Mongolian cosmological symbols, elements, and also more sort of like in a universal sense, the symbolism that can be understood across multiple cultures. So in the Paris exhibition, we see quite a different variety of my works where I'm working in drawing, but I'm also working with natural materials such as the driftwood that's from the sacred lake, Lake 𝗗𝗧𝗘, which we call 𝗦𝗧𝗘 in Mongolian, which translates to Ocean Mother. We also have a piece, Weaving the World, which is entirely made from Mongolian horsehair. We have a recurring annual ritual of trimming down the horse mane of the horses in the spring. From this material in Mongolian culture, we create these very sustainable different kinds of ropes and strings that are used in the practical mundane life. But I was interested in repurposing and giving a different medium to the material itself in the form of a visual artwork. And then we have another piece, which is Writing Without Writing, a Mutation. And this piece is based on my calligraphic practice. This practice itself originates from a space of inability, of my own personal inability of writing in Mongolian traditional script. The piece itself that we have here in Paris at the NIKA project space is one of my very first experimentations of bringing that calligraphic practice from paper and ink to a more three-dimensional realm. And along with this piece, also the Writing Without Writing shadow writing series were the first two experimentations in this direction. So I'm also very happy to be able to show this earlier work of mine in Paris.